Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, then welcome. I did a poll on my Instagram a couple days ago, whether or not you guys want to see a birth story video or a tour of Bennett's bedroom, and honestly, they were pretty much tied. And so I figured, you know what, okay, I'll just do both. I'm going to start off with the birth story video. We had a bit of a rough night last night, and I'm kind of exhausted. So I thought this one would be a little bit easier to do today. And then I will try to upload the bedroom tour, hopefully over the weekend, so that it's up for Tuesday. Let's hope. It can be a little busy around here. All right, so let's just hop right on into it. Please be sure to subscribe if you have not already, as well as like the video if you do enjoy stuff like this. Just kind of keeps me updated so I know what you guys are liking and not liking. So let's just hop right on in. So where do I start? I went a week overdue, which was horrendous. I was so sore. My belly was huge. And I'm not a very big person. I'm only 5'2". And I had huge belly, a lot of pain. Induced me at 41 weeks. We went into the hospital on December 2nd at 7 a.m. And then we waited around and kind of filled out paperwork, talked to the doctor. And they didn't actually induce me until 12:15, so at lunchtime, which kind of like sucked because we were sitting there waiting for so long. But from start to end, my labor was about 12 hours. So not horrible. I definitely know that a lot of moms on their first, second, however many babies, labors can be really long. So it was only about 12 hours. When they induced me at 12, I was starting to get some painful contractions, not fun stuff. And then the anesthesiologist was about to go into surgery. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to take an epidural. And so he came in around 3:30 and gave me the epidural. I was worried that if I waited too long, then he would be stuck in surgery and then I wouldn't be able to get my epidural. And so when they gave me my epidural, I cannot talk, I was about 5 centimeters dilated. And so we played games, we chatted, we kind of rested, knowing what was about to happen. And I had my mom and my aunt both on standby. My aunt lives an hour away, and my mom lives in the same town as us. And so I kind of want to give my aunt a little bit of warning. And so they checked me again around 7:30. And like the epidural is only working on the left side of my body. So I can still feel everything on the right side. And so I'm just like, keep pumping for more because I'm like, this is painful. And so when they checked me at 7 p.m., I was at like, I think they said 7 centimeters. And so I called my aunt and I said, hey, it's probably best that you pack up and come. And so that she would make it in time. And so we called my mom and they both showed up. And we kind of just, didn't want to do, wait for me to finally be at a 10. And so in the meantime, I was like texting friends. One of my good friends was at a makeup outlet. And so she was like, oh, I got you some lipsticks, and just trying to kind of lighten the mood because it was just like dragging on. And so kind of breathing through the contractions, and then it was time to push. And we sat and waited again because Bennett just wants to take his time. It would like come really quickly and we'd be like, oh my God, I'm already at like 7 centimeters. And wow, we got to 8. And I was stuck at 9 centimeters for like 2 hours. And so finally at 12:15 a.m., it was time to push. And so I'm pushing. I pushed for about half an hour. It was like 4 pushes. But as I'm pushing, they have Ben hooked up to a monitor, me hooked up to the monitor. And so I can just hear his heart rate beside me going off, and it's going lower and lower and lower. And they're like, okay, we need to get this baby out. And so I'm trying to push, and then his head finally came out. and the cord was wrapped around his neck quite a few times. So the doctor immediately cut it as soon as she could. They had to call a code in the hospital, and like doctors, nurses, everybody was coming, and they were making sure that he was okay. He went about 2 minutes after birth until he finally took his first breath with some help. And we were a little bit longer than that until he was able to breathe on his own. So he did end up spending a few days in the NICU. But he was a 9-pound, 9-ounce baby. And I'm only 5'2". And so he did get stuck coming out, and he dislocated his shoulder. So they wanted to keep an eye on that. And then we spent about 3 days in the NICU, and they just wanted to make sure that everything came back normal. They did a whole bunch of test work. So when the test came back, so we had to wait 48 hours for the test results to come back to make sure that everything was okay. That the reason that he wasn't breathing wasn't like something genetic or anything like that. But he literally just wasn't breathing because he got stuck, because he was a big baby. And so we just waited until that was figured out. We were very lucky that the hospital that we were in had a room with 2 beds in it for NICU moms, which was amazing because I was able to spend a night there on Tuesday, because I got discharged from the hospital on Tuesday afternoon, and so I did not want to leave Bennett at the hospital by himself. Ryan went home to kind of shower, recoup. It had been a hard few days. And so I stayed at the hospital, and then it was very rough, very emotional, having to be by myself. Ben wasn't latching. It was just it wasn't a good experience. And so Ryan came back to come spend the night with us. If there was another mom in the room, then he wouldn't have been able to. But we were lucky that when I was staying in the room, there was nobody else there, so he was able to come back and spend the night. And then on Wednesday, we got to come home, and it was so exciting, so nice to be able to come bring him home finally, and spend some quality time together. But I think as rough of it as it was, and it was a very traumatic experience, it took me a long time to even be able to talk about my birth story, because I was very emotional about it. It was very upsetting. But I'm glad that I got to a point where I'm able to help other moms. And whenever they're going through a tough time or just having some issues, if something like this happens to them, then I know that I'm able to help them emotionally through it, whatever the case may be. But we are very happy that we have a healthy baby boy who is now 17 months old and does not stop ever, and doesn't love to sleep. So that is all I have for you about my birth story. If you have any questions, anything like that, you can comment below, reach out to me on my Instagram, or if you just want to chat, then definitely reach out. And I will try to get that Bennett's bedroom tour up for you guys, hopefully for my Tuesday video. And then we will go from there. So thanks so much. See you next video.